My name is Swan. That's easier to pronounce. And I'm going to talk about awareness, or rather, security culture. Can I get that presentation on the screen here as well, so I don't need to look back all the time? All right. Can't click. So, gotta wait for the presentation to run, but that gives time. Everyone who saw Brett Johnson's presentation just yet, who thought this was kind of an awareness measure? Not? Yeah, some, right? It's inspirational. Just think about it, like what inspires you? What gets your inspiration up, right? Filling time on stage when nothing happens with the technology. This is also something we need to talk about, right? Cybersecurity is about all the things. It's about the people, the processes, and technology. And technology, without it, it doesn't really work. So I'm here, people and processes are there. It's just that technology isn't there yet. But we're waiting. It's fine. Yeah, I can see it coming up here. Yes! Wonderful! So, a warm welcome, everyone. I'm going to start with a few questions today for you. So, who in the room has done awareness trainings in their companies? That's many hands go up. Right. And who permanently changed their behavior afterwards? Ooh, that many. Wow. Who always locks the screen when away from keyboard? Wow. That's the group of people here. Statistics doesn't really apply for the rest of the world, I guess. Who uses secure passwords and different passwords everywhere? Wonderful. We're on an IT security conference. So who makes sure no one can look in their screens when they're traveling? Yeah, not all of them. Okay. And as I said, you're not the best statistics group here. You're all very interested in the topic, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But who would have done all this without the awareness training in your company? Yeah, thought so. And would you claim everyone else in your companies is doing and behaving in the same way? Oh, a lot of head shaking. Thank you very much for this training. This is why I want to talk about awareness, and I really want to talk about security culture. And there is a difference there, and I will show you how I think about the difference. I think it's really, really important that from where we stand with awareness, this is something we have to guide into a security culture. So everyone will behave in the same way as everyone here in the room does, obviously. So let's start with a little theory. What is culture? So culture, I brought some definitions for you. There are 1,000 definitions out there, but I just chose and picked randomly 3. So it's a shared system of meaning or collective memory, shared values and beliefs which manifest themselves in behavioral norms, shared set of assumptions which facilitates its cohesion and survival. Now, that's a lot of shared in there. Shared and collective. It's obviously something you need a group to do. And also it has a lot to do with values and beliefs, with something we have done in our behavior and we think it's right to do so. And it has also to do with tradition, something we do over and over again. And by doing it, you think and believe this is the way to do it. I mean, I'm a mom, and sometimes my child asks me, why do I need to do this? And yeah, you just do it. This is how you do it, right? A lot of this is culture. And if we aim at somehow establishing a security culture, we need to get our people in our community, but also in the whole company, and also for friends and people who are not in the business world, to that very idea and value, and they have to value security, and they have to understand and behave in a way that you would say, okay, this is the right way to do it. And I'm a believer, I'm optimistic, maybe hopelessly so, but I really, really hope that one day security and using secure passwords will be the same thing for us, and we'll do it automatically just as we sit down in a car and put on the seatbelt. 50 years back, nobody put on a seatbelt, right? But right now, everyone sits in, you just strap in, no question there. And I want us to behave in the internet in a secure way by that very true believing and not even thinking about it. Right, but until then, we got a little work to do. How do we get there? How do you change behavior? Or when? Thinking about, quitting to smoke, losing weight, being more optimistic, whatever. What triggers you to change? Anyone, just speak up. Yeah? In your own interest, yes. Other? Exactly, understanding why money could be an incentive as well. I brought a list. When I asked my 14-year-old niece, she would follow influencers, like the cool stuff, right? I think a few years back we called them idols, people we look up to. We want to follow those people we highly value in their behavior. We mimic their behavior. Also, shocking experiences can help. I really don't hope that anyone here had to endure a ransomware attack in their company, because it's a very painful experience. But it definitely helps getting security awareness up afterwards, right? But also if these shocking moments happen to someone very close to you. So Graham Swift once wrote, man is a storytelling animal. So it's a lot about if someone tells me a story and I believe it's true and it's a shocking story, I will remember it and I might change my behavior afterwards. Understanding we already had. Also, doing it in a group really helps. I mean, there is a reason that we have anonymous alcoholics and Weight Watchers and all these, right? There's a reason for this, because it really, really helps if you're not alone in doing this. And I think, well, you could have positive incentives like money. Some companies also use negative consequences, but I want to cross that out, because I think if you threaten someone with negative consequences, it's probably only resulting in someone finding a way around and doing it in secret. So the key message here is making the group change. And in order to do this, in order to create a change in behavior and the beliefs and values, we first have to find out what's the status quo. And here, a little more theory from an academic institute. I really, really like Edgar Schein's three-layer organizational model. I'm not sure whether anyone is familiar with it. It's from the 90s. It's still very good. It's about, the whole idea is that you can understand an organizational culture on various layers. And the top layer, it's kind of the tip of an iceberg. This is something you can see, something you can observe. So it's visible organizational structures, it's processes. Sometimes they are hard to decipher, sometimes not. If you think about cybersecurity and you see the sticky note attached to the screen with a password on it, this is something you can observe, right? Underneath that, what you can't obviously see, is values. Now, how do we understand values? It's strategies, it's goals, it's philosophies. Some people just put it out there openly. They put it on their LinkedIn profiles. This is what I stand for. This is what I aim for. This is my goals, my strategies. Also for companies. Some companies already have their strategies. Look for security in there. Very, very seldomly, security plays a role in this. But it's important that we get security as a value, right? And then this is even harder to assess here, underlying assumptions. This means something like unconscious, taken for granted beliefs, habits of perception, thought and feeling, something we don't question anymore. And this you can only assess if you really question the people, if you sit them down, talk to them in interviews, really dig a little, and then you will get answers like, yeah, but I'm so insignificant. Why would someone want to hack me? I always say, okay, does your sales department tell the same thing? Probably not, right? Also, your Instagram account does obviously tell something else. So finding out what are the underlying assumptions and take it for granted beliefs in the organization's people's minds is something a good assessment should do in the beginning. And then, only then, once you understand your organizational culture, can you really start drafting didactic frameworks. You will, at that point, identify target groups. You will understand who believes what. There are probably some people, like the IT security people in your company, who don't need that much training anymore. But there are others who are so far away and have such a different kind of thinking that you will, step by step, need to guide them to where you want them to be. And so that model basically says, and this is where awareness comes into place, I think everyone in a company, so this is the biggest target group, should have at least an awareness and constantly be held aware that there's a threat landscape out there, that there are things happening. But I really, really want most of the target group people to get to some kind of knowledge about it, because only if we understand, we will start changing our behavior. And I want at least half of the people in a company to have some kind of competence in dealing with technology, with everything around that topic, in order for others who have at least the awareness and the knowledge that there is something off to be able to help them. And they know who to ask. But you don't need to have experts on cybersecurity and pen testers for everyone in your company. Not everyone needs to know that. That target group who actually need to have deep cybersecurity knowledge is not that big. And they should somehow get a different training and treatment than the other ones, because their awareness and mindset, their mindset from the beginning, their values might be different ones as well. So, I truly believe that if we teach and train cybersecurity, a knowledge transfer can then only succeed if the training content which is conveyed is optimized for the target groups. Right? It doesn't really help if you get fantastic IT security people training non-IT people and telling them all the fantastic stuff they can do, but which will only shy away, let's say, the HR department, right? Because they're overwhelmed by it. So it needs to be optimized for the target group. And if the training is based also on a comprehensive didactic approach, that it's like one step after another, and like all the psychology around training and how people make some stuff stick in their memories. And also then, what also really helps is transfer. So if you can actually put it to use right after the training, and you're doing it, because if you do it and if you behave like it, it will automatically get into your value system. And this is a little shout out to everyone. I want everyone to finding the balance in security. Today I talk about the more social human topic of awareness and security culture, but I think technical solutions are as important. But both of them need to be in a balance. So I can have the best technical solutions if the people who are using them don't understand how to use them and don't understand why they are there and why. We are always the inconvenient guys, right? We're the ones like multi-factor authentication. There's a lot of extra steps and layers to do for the people to use stuff. So we try to make it as convenient as possible, but at the same time, you have to explain and understand why we do what we do and be charming about it in order to get the acceptance for the security measures. Here are a few do's and don'ts and awareness and security culture training. Find influencers in your company. These could be very, very different depending on the company. Because if you have some influencers, this might be the top management. This might be in developers' companies. It's usually some senior developers who are not in the management, but everyone looks up to. Find the people everyone looks up to. And if they behave in a way and also advise the others to do the extra step. It's okay in a project management to do a security assessment beforehand or to run a security concept by it. And they take the time and they see, everyone else sees, okay, the top management is doing it or whoever's in charge, so I can do it as well. So find the influencers, change their mindset first, and then make them do transfer tasks so you're making sure everything is delivered and the training content is put into use directly. What I really don't like is user shaming. I mean, a lot of companies rely on phishing emails, phishing campaigns. They might have some use somewhere, but it's a lot of user shaming involved. There are options where I think it's done right, but it's very few. So really, really, please avoid user shaming, because from psychology we know that it's not going to trigger a change of behavior, but rather kind of puts out the child in you and saying, now you treated me like a parent with your finger, so I'm going to do something else anyways. Don't do trainings which are once and forgotten. Awareness trainings are usually kind of this web-based training once a year, sometimes. So it's really, really important that the idea that it becomes a habit, that something around us always again and again we are confronted with, and then we'll start taking it for granted and taking it as an important aspect of our life. So it needs to be done again and again. And also please avoid harsh consequences. I think we've had that before. So key takeaways for more security awareness: understand your company's organizational structure. So start with assessments. Choose trainings which then fit your culture and the target groups. So you need a proper didactic framework, and if you do it right, it will help you so much than just blind actionism. But you know exactly when you will train which training group and how the big picture will look like in the end. Start with the influencers so the rest can follow. So training and education is the next step. Apply the knowledge to everyday tasks. Make sure the transfer happens. And also use in-house expertise. A lot of companies already have fantastic people working for them. So why not use that? Some even might, be interested in the topic on a side job. Why not get them on board for this? Try to figure out who in your company has expertise and is willing to share it and make them also part of the community of a company. And if you argue on eye level and get people to talk on eye level, the results will be much better. Now, I promised to talk about awareness, and I do like good awareness campaigns. Because I think, as I said, it's good if you have these little awareness campaigns every now and then. And there's some really, really great ones. And one I want to share with you is one from Rachel Toback. I'm not sure many of you might know her. And she once wrote a song. And I'm running a little experiment with you today. I'm going to present you with that song. It's a very famous tune. So every time you hear that tune somewhere, you think about password security, please. And if it works, please reach out. I would be most curious to see if it works. Now I'm a little excited. Saif told me it's okay if I'm doing this. I'm a little excited. I haven't been singing on stage for a long time. So everyone, give me a beat. There once was a kid whose password lay across all sides. It was the same criminal then took their fame by taking that data to go. Soon may a criminal come to take your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your account and go. The kid then noticed strange behavior. There had been a login failure. Reused passwords was their trader. It was already pawned. Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime's done, they'll steal your account and go. Thank you very much. Reach out.
Brilliant.